Welcome to the Law Excellence Hindu News Analysis. Today we are going to discuss these 4 articles listed in the Hindu newspaper. Now, before moving to the first article, try to answer this question. Consider the following statements. Commission for Air Quality Management is established by Air Act 1974. CPCB is established by Environment Protection Act 1983. Which of the above statements are correct? Now, try to answer this question. Just pause the video, answer by yourself. Now, coming to the first article. Now, this article says that sky is the limit for development of tribes. President Droupadi Murmu. Now, today, November 15th, is the birth anniversary of the tribal leader Birsa Munda. Now, in this context, Droupadi Murmu, addressing a television conference, said that a country is called as truly developed only when tribal communities are developed. And not only that, she applauded union government by saying that union government taken tribal development as a priority. And in this context, she said that for tribal development, tribal ministry got a budget of 13,000 crore, which is a 70% higher than the last year. Now, this is the 158th birth anniversary of Birsa Munda. Now, in this context, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to launch a stamp coin on Munda's birth anniversary. Now, this article is relevant from the examination perspective because if you see previous year question, it was asked that with reference to history of India, Great Tumult is the description of which of the following events. Now, this is something related to the Birsa Munda's revolt of 1899 to 1900. Now, not only this, even in the mains examination, there are questions in the JS paper 1 and JS paper 2 regarding the tribals, right? Now, in this context, we will know certain facts from the prelims perspective regarding Birsa Munda. Now, Birsa Munda is a tribal leader, he is a religious reformer, and also a freedom fighter. He stood against the British legislations and fought against them using the guerrilla warfare. Now, causes for this was that because of the oppressive land laws, especially they are not allowed their own forests for their own livelihoods. And not only that, because of the dikus, means outsiders such as moneylenders, jamindars, and others, etc., occupying the lands of these tribals. Not only that, Britishers allowed Christian missionaries that lead to religious conversion and cultural fabrication of the locals of this Chota Nagpur Plateau religion. And not only that, Kunkarti practice system. Now, Kunkarti practice system is a community-based land ownership which is followed in the Chota Nagpur region, especially by this tribal people. Now, this was affected by the British legislations. Now, in this context, tribals are united under the leadership of Birsa Munda, and they sought to establish a Munda Raj in this region. Now, from the Prince perspective, you have to know certain things. That is Dikus. Now, Dikus means outsiders in their language. Now, in films, there are chances of asking that what is meant by the Dikus, right? Now, Kunkati. Kunkati is a land system in tribal areas. Now, these are things you have to remember. Now, Birsa Munda belongs to this Chota Nagpur Plateau region. Now, in previous year questions, Munda rebellion is also called. Such type of questions were also asked. For example, if you see Ulgulan, Timur revolt. So, this revolt is part of the late 19th century. Now, this revolt especially happened around 1898 to 1900. Keep this fact in mind because UPSC has a habit of asking which of the following are contemporary leaders. For example, it may give statement like Birsa Munda fought around the time of non-cooperation movement. Now, which is a wrong statement, right? So, keep this in mind. Next, Birsa Munda also established a faith of Birsait, which means it has a blend of animism, indigenous beliefs, which emphasize the worship of single god. Now, next important thing is that Birsa Munda has a nickname of Dharti Aba, or Father of the Earth. Now, UPSC may ask that which of among the following has a nickname of Dharti Aba? Okay, things like that. Now, next, as it is said that November 15th is recognized as a Janjati Gaurav Divas. Now, this is to ensure that tribals have unique place in India. Their culture is preserved, conserved. Now, this is also called Tribals Pride Day. Now, next, in this context, the same November 15th is also seen as a Jharkhand Creation Day. Now, next, in this Birsa Munda rebellion, it was suppressed by the British because Birsa Munda was arrested in the end. Now, because of which the people were fragmented. Now, he was dead due to the cholera when he was in the jail. Now, but after that, Britishers realized that they should not interfere with the religious beliefs of the tribals. Now, further, they initiated Tenancy Act of 1908. Under this act, it restricted the transfer of land from the tribals to non-tribals. Now, this is what things you have to remember from the prelims perspective. Now, coming to the next article. Now, this article is saying that air quality falls in the Delhi. Now, CAQM, Commission for Air Quality Management, ordered banning of construction and demolition activities in the Delhi NCR region. Now, in this context, this article is important from the prelims perspective because if you see previous year questions, UPSC has a habit of asking statutory bodies, especially related to the environment conservation. Now, if you see previous year question, it is asking about how NGT is different from the CPCB. Now, we try to answer this question. NGT has established by an act, whereas CPCB has created by an executive order of the government. Now, this is a wrong statement because both NGT and CPCB are statutory bodies established by an act. Now, NGT provides environmental justice and helps in reducing the burden of litigation in the higher courts, whereas CPCB promotes cleanliness of the streams and wells and aims to improve the quality of the air in the country. Now, this statement is a correct statement. So, the answer is B. Now, the context of the news is that recently the air quality in the Delhi is fallen and it is worsened day by day. So, in this context, Commission for Air Quality Management provided certain directions. It said that construction and demolition activities should be banned. Not only that, it banned flying of vehicles that are designed with the BS3, BS4, and it also banned interstate buses that are not registered in Delhi but coming to the Delhi that have BS3, BS4 fuel designs. And not only this, if possible, it ordered the governments that take a decision about discontinuing the physical classes if at all required. Now, these are the directions given. Now, from the police perspective, we have to know certain things about the graded response action plan because in this article it is mentioned that these directions are given based on the graded response action plan and these directions are given by the CAQM. Now, from the police perspective, we have to know certain facts regarding this body. Now, if you see graded response action plan, is a framework that is designed to combat the air pollution in the Delhi NCR region. Now, Delhi NCR region constitutes not just Delhi, but the adjoining areas of Punjab, Haryana, UP, and Rajasthan. Now, this is a framework that has certain strategies to combat the air pollution. Now, who will implement this graded response action plan? That is what the CAQM, Commission for Air Quality Management. Now, prelims may ask that CAQM is a statutory body. Yes, it is a statutory body. It was established under the Commission for Air Quality Management in the National Capital Region Areas Act of 2001. Now, the question may ask like what are its functions? Yes, it has a function of research, identification, and resolution of problems regarding the air quality in the surrounding areas of Delhi NCR region. Now, the question may ask that it has the influence to the entire country. No, that's a wrong statement. It has in the Delhi NCR region. Next, it has the function of coordinating activities with the states like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh because air pollution often related to the surroundings of NCR region. So it has the power of issuing directions that can restrict the activities, especially flying of vehicles, construction activities like that. Just now we have seen in this news context. Now it has the power of giving binding directions, inspections, and regulations. Now UPSC has a habit of asking questions whether particular body has the binding powers or not. Yes, this has the binding powers. Now, this body is directly accountable to the parliament. Now, you have to remember these facts from the police perspective. Now, other important thing is that the chairperson can be the rank of secretary or chief secretary. Now, it has 3 full-time technical members and 3 members from the NGOs. And it has 5 ex officio members from the surrounding states and they are also majorly of secretary of rank. Now, these are the things you should keep in mind from the prelims perspective. Now, coming to the next article. Now, this article is saying that AFSPA back in the 6 violence hit areas of the Manipur. Now, the context of the news is that Ministry of Home Affairs notified certain areas in the Manipur as the disturbed areas. Why? Because you know that there is insurgency that is prevalent in the northeastern region. And this is aggravated recently in the aftermath of the Kuki Methi ethnic violence, right? Now, in this context, there are few people abducted by these insurgent groups, and few women and children were abducted. Now, the present government in the Manipur and opposition parties demanding the release of those people. Now, in this context, government notified that certain districts in the Manipur are disturbed areas. Now, this is the context of the news. Now, this article is relevant from the examination perspective. If you see GS paper 3 under the internal security, there is a previous year question asked about the AFSPA itself. It is saying that human rights activists constantly highlight the fact that AFSPA is a draconian act leading to the cases of human rights abuses by the security forces. What sections of the AFSPA are opposed by the activists critically evaluate the requirement with reference to view held by the Apex Court. Now, this is what the context of the news. Now, both from the prelims and mains perspective, let us know some facts and figures and analysis about the AFSPA. Now, AFSPA given armed forces, especially army forces, unbridled powers to kill anyone if they are doing anything in contravention of the law. They had the power to arrest anyone and search any premises without warrant. Now keep these facts in mind, especially from the prelims perspective, because UPSC may frame a statement that under the AFSPA, armed forces can search any premise without a warrant. Yes, it is true. Now, other important thing is that under this act is that it ensures protection from the prosecution and legal suits without the central government sanction. That means that armed forces are not subjected to prosecution without the prior approval from the central government. Now, why this was given? Because they are working in the insurgent area, right? Now, they should work without fear, without biasness against any legal action. Now, that is what the context of the news. Now, from the police perspective, it may act like what are the disturbed areas, right? Now, under this act, it is said that the places where use of armed forces is required in aid of the existing civil power and existing government machinery, there such areas are declared as the disturbed areas. Now, who can declare this disturbed areas, whether it is state or central government? Yes, both state and central government can declare. Now, this act provides concurrent powers to both center and state to declare an area as a disturbed areas. Now, these are the things you have to remember from the prelims perspective. Now, from the mains perspective, there are certain arguments about removal or repeal of the AFSPA, and there are people who are saying that it is required for the security and sovereignty of the country. Now, arguments in favor we will see. First of all, the first thing is security challenges. That is, you know that northeastern region is very much popular for insurgent areas. There are many rebel groups that are doing anti-national, anti-developmental activities. There are many groups active such as Wolfa, National Liberation Army, People's Army in the Tripura, Manipur, in these areas, right? Now they are against the sovereignty of the country, and there are many people claiming that they want their own region as declared as a country. So things like that, there are internal security challenges. Now to address those challenges, AFSPA is very much required. Next, empowering security forces, because security forces often fear that they may face legal actions because if they shoot someone or kill in the process of action. So in this way, they should not fear such actions. They should work without fear. Now, for that, this act empowers the security forces in combating insurgency and terrorism effectively. Now, next, this boosts the morale of the officers also. And not only this act creates as a deterrence, because the presence of armed forces in a particular region creates deterrence among the people who are involved in the militant activities. Now, these are the arguments in support of the AFSPA. Now, another important thing is that this AFSPA lead to violation of states' autonomy. Why? Because law and order is in the control of the state list. But because of this, it's related to violation of the state autonomy. Because central government has a power of declaring an area as a disturbed area, they can deploy the forces under the AFSPA without the consent of the state. Now, this is considered as a violation of state's autonomy. Now, another important issue is that excessive use of force by the army. And this force is considered as disproportionate. Why? Because in the process of fighting, there are issues that are come across where innocent people who are not related to the insurgency or militism, they are often killed in this process. Now that's why I'm saying that this is called as excessive use of forces. Now next, violation of civil liberties. Why? Because these armed forces have the power to search any premises without warrant. They can arrest people without warrant if they think that they are involved in the insurgent activities. Now, lack of accountability. As it said that if they want to be prosecuted, they have to take prior sanction from the central government. Now, in this way, through legal way, they are very much protected. Now, next important thing is that evidence of abuse. Now, Hegde Commission, in its findings, it found that armed forces are involved in the extrajudicial killings, and there are instances that are noted where armed forces are involved in the sexual abuse of women in the critical areas. Now, these are the things that are arguments that are saying that AFSPA should be repealed. Now, what is the court's argument? Now, court is saying that to preserve the integrity, security of the country, AFSPA is required. It upheld the act. And next, it is saying that yes, central government has the power. By so motive, it can declare an area as a disturbed area and it can deploy the forces. But by upholding the principle of federalism, it should consult the state government also for ensuring cooperation and coordination, because the local places are more identified with the state officers. So they need some coordination and cooperation. Hence, in this context, it said that central government should consult state government also. Next, declaration must have a defined time frame. That is, once an area is declared as a disturbed area, it should not be indefinite time. It should be declared only up to the 6 months, And not only that, periodically it should be assessed that whether it is need or not, whether it is need of disturbed area or not. So in this way, continuous assessment is needed. Next, declaring an area arbitrary or not, shooting someone or killing by the army or immunity or impunity that is given to the armed forces should not be arbitrary, neither unreasonable. They can be guilty under the reasonable restrictions. Now, these are the directions given by the Supreme Court. Now, what are the suggestions? Now, even second ARC, Jeevan Reddy Committee, all this said that this AFSA should be repealed, and they said that the certain provisions can be included in the UAPA Act. Now, this committee also said that there is a need of grievances. If there are any grievances, that has to be reported against the armed forces at the district level. Now, these are the things you have to be remembered from the prelims and mains perspective regarding AFSPA. Now, coming to the next article. Now, this article is saying that exports rebound, but October import bill hits new record. Now, the context of the news is that this article is saying recently there is increase in the export of goods of 1%, but on contrary, there is 4% rise in the import bill also. Now, this rise in import bill is because of higher gold and oil imports. Now, this is what the author is saying. Author also said that there is increase in prices of petroleum imports also. Now, this is the context of the news. Now, this news is important especially from the prelims perspective. Now, if you see the previous year questions, balance of payment often asked in the UPSC prelims exam year after year. Now, if you see this question, it is asking about which of the actions can help in reducing the current account deficit, right? Now, current account deficit is one of the part of the BOP because balance of payment contains two things. One is current account, another is capital account, right? So, understanding this balance of payment is very important in this context. Now, we will try to answer these questions. If you see first question, consider the following statements. Which of the following actions can be taken by the government that can help in reducing the current account deficit? Okay, now the first option is saying that devaluing the domestic currency. Now this statement is correct statement. Why? Because if you devalue the currency, that means $1 can have more Indian currency. That means foreigners have ability to buy Indian goods. That means India's competitiveness or Indian goods competitiveness is increased in the international markets. It means that the demand for Indian goods increases. Indians exports more goods. Now, if exports from India increase means we will get more foreign currency. Now, getting more foreign currency means it's a positive thing, right? That helps in reducing the current account deficit. Yes, first statement is correct statement. Now, next, reduction in export subsidy. Now, government if reduces export subsidy, the exporters from India will export less. If export less means we will get less currency as a foreign. That means negative in nature, right? Now, this is a wrong statement. Now, one is right and two is wrong. So, we'll almost reach the answer. But again, the option 3 is saying that adopting suitable policies which attract greater FDI and more funds from the FII. Yes. See, FDI, getting FDI means inflow of foreign currency. Inflow of foreign currency means is a positive, right? It's positive means it can help in reducing current account deficit. The answer is that 1 and 3. Now, next question. With reference to balance of payment, which of the following constitutes current account? I think it is not invisible. It is current account. As it is said before, I said current account involves balance of trade, balance of invisibles. That means 1 and 3. Now, if you see here, foreign assets, as I said it before, foreign assistance, it may be assistance, grants, loans, borrowing, anything will come under the capital account. Now, hence, this statement is wrong. Now, special drawing rates comes under IMF. If you see the head of IMF just before slide, it comes under the capital account. Now, this is also wrong. Hence, the answer is 1 and 3. Now, the next question. Which of the following constitute capital account? See here current account. Now here saying that capital account. Now like this question may repeat in the future also. Now which of the following constitute capital account? As I said, foreign. Anything foreign coming into the country in terms of currencies, especially investment loans, borrowings, it is comes under the capital account, right? Now remember one thing. You may study about revenue account and expenditure account, right? It says that revenue account, capital account, anything that is affecting assets or liability is something under the capital account. Now, loan is a liability, right? Now it comes under the capital account. Again, direct investment, sometimes investment assets, again it's a capital account. Now, private remittances, I said remittances comes under the balance of invisibles. Now, this is a wrong statement. Now, portfolio investment. Again, it's the investment affecting assets in India, right? It comes under the capital account. Remember these facts. Now, answer is 1, 2, and 4. Option is B. Now, in this way, keep these facts in mind, especially from the prelims perspective. Now, thank you. Have a nice day.